Espionage or spying has been used throughout history, but it was during the Cold War that spying technology would become super sophisticated and match the fast-moving changes in science and technology. The CIA was set up right after World War II in 1947 when the National Security Act was passed. The point of the act was to help the government and the branches work more efficiently. The CIA made it easier for the US to coordinate the intelligence gathering activities of various countries, especially the communist ones, and carry out covert operations. To carry out these operations and gather intelligence, the CIA would start developing some really weird things. This included fake bricks in a construction site that contained information inside of it, a rectal suppository that contained tools in it, and normal things you would expect like radios on a necklace. But the type of technology that the spies used often were the ones that could take pictures or record sound without bringing attention to themselves. Around the 1960s, the CIA thought it would be a good idea to combine animals and cameras. This would include putting cameras on pigeons and having them fly into a certain location that the CIA was targeting and having the camera take pictures every so often. The CIA needed a new way to transmit audio recording that they had just gathered over longer distance without getting picked up by the enemy. So the CIA started using signal subcarriers RF transmitters that would disguise the broadcast. You would first hear clear signal resembling white noise. Then someone that was part of your team would scan the radio spectrum. Just adjust to the right spot on the dial on the radio to find a subcarrier with the clandestine message. By tuning to the right frequency and tuning out the white noise, it was possible to hear the covert transmission. Then the CIA decided that this new covert technology should be put on a cat. The audio recorder would be put on the ear cavity of the cat, and the wire would run down the spine of the cat and would hide under the fur. Then they would send the cat into a crowded, popular location where it's known to have people talking about information that could interest the CIA. Well, this failed as often the cats would just wander, and it's hard to get a cat to go to a specific place without special trainings for most of the cat's life, and without making it seem like you're controlling the cat. So, we will be putting tracking trips on McDonald's, and then the CIA agents eat it, boom, we will be able to track all his movements. Sir, I think the cat knows what we're talking about. Meow. So far, we have talked about audio recorders, but not so much about the technology of the camera. So one of the most used cameras by the CIA during the 70s and 80s of the Cold War was a T-100. The T-100 camera was a submature camera that was created to help Ogurdenik spy on the Soviet Union. He was a Soviet diplomat for a member of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs that was stationed in Colombia in 1976. This was an opportunity for the United States to learn what the Soviet leadership was thinking and planning for its Latin American policy. If this operation was successful, the United States could gain detailed intelligence on Soviet plans and intentions not available from satellite, so the CIA went about recruiting him. Orgadenik had been enjoying the Western lifestyle and didn't want to give it up as he was being sent to the Soviet Union. Orgadenik also had a Colombian mistress. She was pregnant with his kid. Also, with this knowledge of the Soviet Union, this made him the perfect target. Compensation for being a CIA spy, he would be paid money, and some of that money would go into his mistress. The CIA would help him defect. He was successfully recruited and given the name Trigon. The T-100 film, lens, and shutter mechanism all fitted in a single aluminum casing that measured 1 inch in 2 diameters. The lens of the camera was only 4 millimeters in diameter. The T-100 could be hidden in items such as pens, watches, or cigarette lighters. The T-100 was designed specially for document copying. Trigon decided to hide his T-100 camera on his pen. He would later leave for the Soviet embassy in Colombia. His first mission would be successful as he took pictures of Soviet documents in the embassy, left without looking suspicious, and gave the film to the CIA. 2 out of the 50 pictures that he took of the documents were illegible. This proved that the camera was like no other that existed before it. It was able to put a good quality camera in something small like a watch. During the Cold War, more improvements would be made, and there would be new models like the T-50. Orgadenik was later caught in the Soviet Union though. During his interrogation, he would take an L pill that was hidden in a pen and die in 1977. The mask and prosthetics were used by agents to change their appearance. The changes to how someone's face appeared could be done with wigs, masks, or a few wrinkles in facial hair. The former CIA chief of disguise had a beef with former President Ronald Reagan wearing a mask, and he didn't even notice that she was wearing a mask until she took it off. The disguise was so good that they can make a woman look like a man. To change their voice, they can add fake palates to the roof of the mouth and give them a lisp and change the way they talk. In conclusion, most of the technology used during the Cold War by the CIA was basically James Bond technology, but in real life.